Hey folks, Andrew Johnston here. I just wanted to record a quick video to talk a little bit about Metallica and her Sandman. Probably a lot of you are aware about how that riff came to be in the studio. That's something that's been, I think, pretty well discussed. I think that Kirk Hammett had the original idea, which was and so he was doing the tag each time around on the riff, and then I think it was Lars who said, well, why don't you do it 3 times and then just have the tag on the end, so you sort of build up to it more. That's been broadly documented. Something that I noticed about Enter Sandman, which I'm not sure if people really talk about that much, is just the masterclass in thematic development that is happening in the intro of that. Because, and again, I can only imagine that this goes back to Lars and his ability to sort of or just Metallica in general, and the way they think about riffs and kind of pulling riffs apart and then putting riffs back together. They're like a riff machine. They're like a riff factory, especially, I'm kind of digressing here, but on their last 3 albums or so, 72 Seasons, and then the one before that, you can sort of feel them coalescing into a sort of comfortable kind of rhythm with how they're making their music, and that they've just sort of settled into this kind of mastery of, Lars and James go into a practice room together, and Lars is like, what do you got for me? And then they just have permutations upon permutations until they arrive at the final gestalt or whatever. Anyway, I can imagine them sort of saying okay, well, we've got this riff. How are we going to get into that? How are we going to lead into that, right? And so off the top you have... which you see it's hinting at the riff, right? I'm just going to play a little bit on musician here. I remember the first time I heard this, I never put it together that this was the riff, but just play it on a clean guitar. Okay, so now it's distorted. And we're just getting the first note. Second note. Third note. Oh shit. Here we go. I mean, when that happens, you just... Can you remember the first time you heard that? When that riff blows out of the speakers there? Amazing. And to think that they were going to go with Through the Never as the lead-off single off this record. I think Bob Rock had been pushing for Through the Never. The thing about the Black Album, though, is even after you peel back all of the singles that we all know and love, The Unforgiven, Enter Sandman, Sad But True, Wherever I May Roam, the back half, or if you want to call it that, right? The back half of that album, all the songs that weren't released as singles, those are other bands' best singles. If they could have an Of Wolf and Men, or if they could have a Through the Never, they would be, thrilled. But yeah, I mean, that album is just all the way through. Even setting aside the singles, everything else on there is just a masterclass in a masterclass in a masterclass. All right, that's it for me. I hope that provided some insight into Enter Sandman and why it's such a masterclass in riff construction.